Welcome on in. Happy Sunday, D-backs fans. Hope you are ready for another exciting, and we'll make it exciting as we possibly can, episode of D-backs Dispatch here with your trio, Gabe, Brandon, myself, Brett, as we're here to discuss a D-backs series loss to the Kansas City Royals. I want to shout out everybody in the YouTube comment section. So if you guys are in here live, appreciate you guys stopping by. If you are listening to us on Apple, Spotify, wherever else you are listening to all of your podcasts, we appreciate you listening there as well. Also, if you can, take the time, rate us, whatever, 1 through 5 stars, whatever you feel like we deserve. At least, let us know your thoughts in star version. If this is your first time in here, like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube side. It does help the algorithm a bunch. Make sure you guys, if you're not already following us on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, make sure you go follow us on all three. And while you're over on Twitter, check our pinned tweet. You should see a link to the Discord. It's free. Join the community that we have growing over there. It's a lot of great fans. Game day discussions, prospect discussions, especially JD Dix, who just got the minor league player of the month of the D-backs. We're a bunch of Dix talks over there. And then also make sure you guys go over to
So many puns. Oh my god, you and
so
those
many
puns.
Dix puns. Nugget, me, and then a few other people just going crazy with the Dix puns in there. But like I said, great place to be with a bunch of other D-backs fans like yourselves. Then also make sure you guys go over to azsnakepit.com. Make sure you guys are following all the content over there, as Riley does say in the chat. Dicks him down indeed. So make sure you guys go over to azsnakepit.com and see all the great content they have over there going out daily. A lot of great writers, great community that they have over there as well. So make sure you guys check them out. To just kind of dive in here, because again, we ended last after, I think it was Thursday, after a 4-game split with the San Francisco Giants, where we were just saying, at minimum, got to see a series win. A sweep would be nice against a sub 500 team. And once again, the D-backs just could not even meet those expectations, and they do lose this series. Like I said, drop 2 of the 3 to the Royals. Game 1 on Friday night, 4th of July. The fireworks got started early as the Royals put up 6 runs in the first 2 innings. One of them was a Vinny Pasquantino. The Pasquatch and Burt with his classic Burt jinx, talking about how the Royals just don't hit any home runs. He immediately hits a home run. Erod, his line finished at 4 1/3, 12 hits, 9 runs, 8 of them earned, 7 Ks, 3 home runs on 98 pitches with 8 hard hit balls. So he was just leaving meatballs all over the place. One of the only bright sides of that game, at least, was Geno did hit his 28th home run of the game, which is a good sign. I think he got
Of
to
the
the third.
game?
Or sorry, of the season, my bad, in this game.
I was about to say,
Could
that's
you
a
imagine?
record, and we
Yeah,
still lost.
yeah, that'd be the most 2025 D-backs thing ever. But I believe last year he got to 30 at the end of the season, so he's already at 28, and we're not even at the All-Star break. So what a turnaround Geno's had. The D-backs do go on obviously to drop that one. That was our 3rd in a row. Going into Game 2 on Saturday, we did get some news. I know Torey Lovello a few days ago was saying that Corbin, or maybe a week ago, that Corbin's return was imminent, and it was confirmed. He was returning from the IL with his broken hand. And Tim Tawa, who has been absolutely struggling, I know we talked about him a bunch last episode. He was optioned down to Reno to make a spot for Corbin. While he did return, he didn't really make an impact in this game. He went 0 for 5 with a strikeout, but he did have a 105-mile-an-hour out. So at least, he did put the ball in play a little bit with some thump. Thankfully, they didn't really need him too much in this game, as Ryan Nelson was kind of a one-man wrecking crew. He retired the first 16 hitters. He had a little no-hitter going there for a while. And the Royals' first hit didn't come until a Freddie Fermin hit in the 6th. With just quick side tangent, how many people do you think confuse Freddie Fermin and Freddie Freeman? Me and my mom were having that discussion at the game today. Nelly's final line went 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. His season ERA is now down to 3.39. He has been one of the bright spots in the rotation and the pitching staff. That there's not too many bright spots. Geno, Gurriel, and McCann all did combine, or all went 2 for 4 for each of them. And Grichuk did have an inside the park home run that, definitely hit a chair. It should be a regular home run, but either way, home run is a home run no matter what. The D-backs did take that game 7-1. So they were coming into Sunday today, looking to take the series. We did get some more injury news and roster moves, as before the game even started, Pavin was put on the IL with an oblique strain, and Ryan Thompson was also added on there with a scapular strain. Tristan English and Bryce Jarvis were called up to take their places. D-backs went with I don't know if opener is a necessary term, because I know this guy used to be a starting pitcher, but they did push back everybody pretty much a game. So instead of it being Gallen, it was Anthony DeSclafani. He wasn't terrible. He faced the minimum through the first 10 batters before Bobby Barrows took him 425 125 feet, like 107, almost 108 exit velocity. Then Salvi launched his second home run of the inning, and definitely gave DeSclafani a little bit of a talking to because he was not happy about his hit by pitch earlier. Which, Salvi, respect you, shut the fuck up. DeSclafani finished with a 4 inning, 4 hit, 4 run, fours all across the board, 6 strikeouts, 1 hit by pitch, and 2 home run performance on the day. So was looking solid there, but the wheels just definitely fell off in the fourth, and even going into the fifth inning because he didn't retire a batter in the fifth. Was not the same case for Michael Lorenzen here in Game 3, as he kept the D-backs hitless through 4 2/3 before a Randall Grichuk double broke up the no-hitter. And that was only one of 3 hits the offense would muster all day, as Grichuk, Domo, and Alec were the only ones that did get a hit in the box score. Where Corbin once again did struggle. I know he went 0 for 5 the other day, had at least a promising out. He didn't even put a ball in play. He went, I believe, 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts on the day. Golden sombrero was just horrendous. But his timing's gonna be off. He'll be fine. And then the team did drop their second straight series versus a sub 500 team, but there was at least some positive. Cattell did get his All-Star game jersey handed to him and presented to him by Torey Lovello. He is now, there was a bunch of stats in there. I know we talked about him a bunch. Pretty much going to be the best D-back of all time. He's, I think, 10 games away from tying, or like 10 games away from reaching 1,000 games played as a D-back, and only Goldschmidt has done that before. And then he's like another like 95, 96 away from breaking Goldschmidt's record. So next year he will be the longest tenure D-back game-wise. And then Corbin and Geno were also recognized as all-star reserves, but we'll have a little bit more on that, topic later. So, overall, obviously, a series loss is never a fun thing to really kind of have a pill to swallow, but there were some bright sides, with Ryan Nelson and even McCann looking really solid in only his 15 plate appearances. But my question to you, gentlemen, everyone in chat as well, always welcome to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. What stood out to you in this series? Whether a good thing that stood out to you, maybe even a bad thing that stood out to you. What did you kind of have jumping and rattling through your brain here through this 3-gamer against the Kansas City Royals?
Um, it's just the same frustrations that we have constantly with this team, where they will come out and just look completely lifeless. They'll have a really good game, then look completely lifeless again. And I don't know what the solution is. I mean, the bullpen, as terrible as it's been, they only allowed 4 runs total today, which is less than Erod allowed, in his outing. In, was it 4 innings, 5 innings that Erod pitched? So honestly, the bullpen, as bad as it's been, it did give this team a chance to win today, but they got 2 hits or something like that, and just made what's his face, Lorenzen look like Paul Skeens out there. Just had nothing on. It was just so bad. It was so pathetic, and dropping that first game as well. And with Erod, I know we were feeling a little bit better about him because I believe he had like 5 outings in a row, quality starts, and this one it started to feel like, oh, is this who he is again? But I mean, he did miss a lot just straight down the middle. So you would hope that's the main issue, is just the fact that he was just missing his location. When he misses the location, because he doesn't throw 95, 96, he can't really get away with it the way someone like Ryan Nelson can. But, I want to take away some positives like Ryan Nelson. But at the same time, you see the standings and it's like, well, they're 4 games behind. And I know 4 games doesn't seem like a lot, but that's still, again, I keep saying, this team acts under presumption, and I think it would be crazy to presume that this team, the teams ahead of them aren't going to do something too. Like, sure, this team can go out and get one or two solid bullpen arms and maybe one starter, but what about the other teams? You think the Padres are going to stand still and not do anything? You think the Reds aren't going to do anything? You think the Mets, the Giants, all those teams are going to go out and get somebody at the deadline just so they're able to compete and stay afloat in this in this national league, just because of how competitive it is. So just seeing them drop further and further back in 4 games, and maybe they could do something against the Padres, but at the same time, I don't know. This team should be doing a lot better than it has been, despite the issues. And I know last year, a lot of people say like, oh, well, they turned it around halfway through the year. They won 89 games, and they didn't make the playoffs. It was a little too late, but also they had to become the literal best offense in baseball. That had become like historically great offensively. And this team is not the same team as it was last year offensively. And last year, we all knew one of the big issues was the starting pitching, but we had reinforcements coming. Merrill Kelly didn't pitch until damn near August, if not September. Zach Gallen missed like 10 starts. We had so many missing guys, not just in the bullpen, but in the starting rotation, that we knew the main problem, and we knew we were going to get reinforcements. And this year, everyone who's healthy is here. I mean, minus Corbin Burns, but even with Corbin Burns, this is still kind of a 500 team.
Yeah, I think you kind of put it best in saying there's just some of the things and some of the problems just being a dead horse. Want to try to be as positive as we possibly can. With Nelly pitching the way he has been lately, being one of the only bright spots in the rotation. But I think, like you said, with the amount of other teams ahead of us, again, we're like 11 and a half, 12 out of the division, so that one's pretty much over. And even 4.5 or 4 games out of the wild card isn't insurmountable. But with all these other teams that are also looking to add, it's going to be where we're probably going to have to overpay a bunch, and not sure if that's the route we're going to want to go. But we'll have to wait to see. So we still have at least another, 10 games until the All-Star break? Maybe like 7 games. I think it's only like a week or so left.
7.
7? Yeah. So this next week will be very, very key into deciding. I feel like how our moods for the rest of these games are going to be going for the rest of the year. But Brandon, same thing to you. What kind of stood out to you in the series? Whether, some positive things, some negative things, overall in this 3-gamer that we just dropped against the Kansas City Royals?
This team struggled trying to hit a changeup in this series. Both Chris Bubik and Michael Wacha had us out in front all day, Friday and Saturday. Going into this, I knew Bubik was going to be good because he's been, literally, he gives up 3 runs or less and literally, I think it was 14 of his 16 starts. So, I knew he wasn't going to give up runs. And then we saw what happened with Erod, where just missing location, pitch after pitch. I lost it when Mark Canha hit a homer. I absolutely lost. I'm like, Mark freaking Canha. Dude, has had no homers on the year, and it was a no-doubter. All of the home runs that Erod gave up on Friday were just meatball. Put it on the tee and swing away. That's literally all they were. Freaking Pasquatch just, oh my god, so crazy. I did enjoy seeing Bobby Witt play because Bobby Witt is just, he's having a down year. He's having a down year, but he's top 5 in WAR in the American League. That to me is crazy. That's how good Bobby Witt is. But the other high point of the series for me is Nasty Nelly. Dude, Nelson on Saturday was just, his confidence in his fastball is so great to see. He is not afraid to throw that in any location, in any count. He knows that's his pitch. It was really great. I was like, shit, we're in the 4th no hits. Shit, we're in the 5th no hits. I'm like, I know what Steve's going to do because it's his job. It's not a jinx, you guys. It's his job to inform people that there's no hits. You just have to accept it. Broadcaster jinx are not a thing.
The way he phrases it can definitely be said in a way where it's not as obvious. Hey guys, there's something crazy that Ryan Nelson's doing right now. Whoa, don't go check that box score, my friends.
Yeah, but no. The fact is, we wouldn't have gotten Nelson if it wasn't for Burns getting Tommy John. So I don't know how I feel about that. Literally, right before Burns gets hurt, they were gonna throw him right back in the bullpen. And I'm like, I know why you're doing it because you have nobody else back there. This team was going to count so much on Puck and J-Mart. And when they both got hurt, they didn't have a backup. Shelby was not supposed to be our closer. Shelby was signed on a minor league deal, and he was supposed to be a very low leverage guy. They were taking a flyer on him.
It wasn't even a minor league deal. It was straight up an invite to camp, a non-roster invitee. So it didn't even pay him to be at camp.
That's to me, that's just crazy. And offense, I've been saying it all year. This Jekyll and Hyde shit with this offense is driving me insane. We'll see games where they have 8 hits, 4 homers, and then we see what we saw today, where they get, I think, no hit through almost 5 innings, and it's just sometimes they're all swinging for the homer, which is great until we see games like we saw today, which wasn't great. I know everyone was freaking out on Friday when they announced that Desclafani was going to start on Sunday. And they're like, what is Torrey doing? Like, what are they doing? I originally thought he was going to be an opener. They were going to try that because we know how Zach struggles early on in the first and second inning. But then later they said, no, they're doing it so that they can push everybody back one day, which like I get, because this San Diego series is the biggest series of the year. They have to be honest, they have to sweep.
Minimum
Splitting or
4.
winning 3 out of 4, they don't go anywhere. Like they gain one game in the standings. If they take 3 or 4, tie, they don't do anything. They just kind of are running in place. So, yeah, this was not good. I felt a little good after yesterday. I thought offense looked really good, and then yeah, just the Michael Lorenzen, like the dude used to be an outfielder, like, and he made us look like nothing. And I know everyone was like, did they rush Corbin back too early? Keep in mind, his chip fracture, it's all about a pain tolerance. So it can't get worse. So they're probably like, may as well have him play. Like, if it's
Very 2025
if he,
D-backs training staff.
yeah, we could talk about that training staff and Brian Kaplan for hours, which we have numerous times.
There's a
on
couple.
this.
I saw it on being posted on our Discord, I believe by Landon, that there's a few Astros fans that were, because they saw the news about Corbin being returning from IL already with a broken hand, and they're like, "Oh my God, what do we have to do to get those trainers from Arizona over here?" And it's like, you can take them, man. You can just have them for free. Like, we just please get them off our hands, because it is.
Yeah.
It's
I
We
mean,
rough.
see Brian DePlant. We see him way too much. Our freaking trainer, like, we should not recognize his face. Yeah, we do.
yeah, I mean,
He's out
even
once a
with
series.
with the Astros, they're having Pena play with like a broken rib for a few weeks. So I'm like, I don't know how much better their training staff is either.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, say it's.
but no, the thing with Salvi today, like, I'm like, bro, you got hit once, and you're on the plate. Like, what do you expect? Like, and then like he hit that bump, which he hit a freaking nuke. Like, it was an absolute missile, and he's just chirping away as he's rounding the bases, and like you can see Cattell chirping back at him too. Like I really thought they were gonna, like, shit was gonna go down for a bit, but then it kind of just, after that it was over. So, yeah, it was just, it's a series we had to have. We didn't. Freaking some of those homers on Friday, they literally sounded like fireworks. Just the crack of the bat. Just, I'm like, jeez, that's so loud.
Yeah, the series did not start off very well, and it definitely did not end very well. Because, like we said before, and like both of you mentioned, this is a series that we had to have, and we're running out of things to, excuse, running out of, reasons, and running out of ways to try to turn things into a positive, because it's getting rough to watch out here. But I do want to highlight one positive, and that's all you guys here in the comment section with us, venting, giving us your thoughts and everything. So we want to shout you guys out. Scott Mack saying the wish D-backs would clean house like the Nationals, beyond fed up with the Hazen and Lovella regime. That one I think would be coming next. It's not going to happen this year. I think it's going to happen probably next year if we miss the playoffs yet again. Arizona Snakes, hi friends, welcome in Arizona Snakes. Love to see you on here. One of my favorite accounts. Riley Dunn saying the most 2025 D-backs thing ever. I believe this was in earlier when I said Geno had 28 home runs in a game. He said to be the most D-backs thing to lose it. He's saying the most 2025 D-backs thing ever would be winning the Padres series off of pitching, then immediately getting blown up in Anaheim. And that honestly tracks. That would 1000% be the most D-backs thing ever. Brad saying late innings. I felt like I was losing hope for the season with every single pitch of this game today, and I agree. It was a rough one because even sitting with my mom, I was like, dude, I just want something to cheer about. Whether even if we get a couple hits and we don't score with runners in scoring position, just give us something where there's borderline nothing to cheer about. Like when they did the APS electric moments of the game, I'm like, okay, there's a pregame highlight, there's a fan highlight, there's a fan highlight, there's a fan highlight, there's a fan highlight. Oh, there's our 2 hits. Oh, there's the electric moments of the game because there pretty much wasn't um, anything there for us to, you know, be hyped about. Corbin Barrels went to the game today. Very sad. Shut down by Michael Lorenzen is crazy. And again, he's not a god awful pitcher. I think he had an ERA in like the below 5, so he's still decent arm. But it's just the D-backs thing is you make these mid pitchers look like the prime Felix Hernandez or Jacob DeGrom. Scott Max even saying what's sad is they failed their the lofty season expectations in spectacular fashion. And I think we've mentioned that even a few times before that whether this team just has certain expectations, they never like seem to live up to it, and they always play better as underdogs, or just maybe we just overhyped them in general. And like again, if this team is healthy, it's a much different outcome than what we're seeing. But unfortunately, you can't work with ifs. You got to work with realities. Another one from Riley saying the D-backs offense slumping into the All-Star break would definitely be the death sentence of the season. Can't do much if your pitching and offense start to collapse, and I think that's a great point. If this team really starts to struggle on both ends, we're just going to go into the All-Star break limping, and I don't know how Mike Hazen can really justify being buyers if it means really shipping off any of our minor league talent when it could just cripple us for, future years going down the road. Corbin Barrel saying they might have rushed Corbin back. Saw a check swing the day where he cringed and dropped the bat. That's something I'm not sure if you know which game that's from. I'll have to go back and look at that. Because even like Brandon said.
It was his first game.
First game?
His first
Okay.
game. I think it might have been just like a second at bat. He did a check swing. He like immediately dropped the bat like off of his his left hand. So he went for the check swing, and then it looks like that the left hand kind of just immediately dropped it, and then he like got up and then just walked to the dugout. Didn't really wince or anything after that, but I mean, you're saying if the chip fracture, if that's what it is, where it's just pure pain tolerance, that's probably what it is. But I don't know. Today he didn't seem as bad as he did yesterday. I mean, the swings and miss he did, but overall it didn't seem like he was having any issues with that hand.
Yeah, I think it's more of just a timing thing because even just a lot of his swings today, he just seemed super late, like just indecisive.
He didn't play
Just
for 2 weeks.
oh yeah, no, I'm
Like,
not. I'm
what
not
do we
saying like
expect?
he's not to
Like,
knock him. I'm just saying it's maybe instead of it being a training staff health related issue, I think it's just generally going to be more of like a timing. Like again, players got to get back into that
rust.
rhythm. Like Cattell had a little bit of rust he had to knock off when he got back from injury. Like it's just something that's gonna happen with players. So I think it's more of just rust than an actual injury. I was looking for another comment in here. Disruptive, shout out you stopping in here. I always love to see you in here. Nelly was a bright spot this year, and I do agree. Not much of a bright spot, but that was definitely one of the comments that I did find a little bit funny here was from Riley saying Caroll, Herrera, Naylor, Smith, and Marte looked absolutely pathetic this series. I mean, that's Herrera. That's every at bat. You could have just left him out there, and we know he's going to look pathetic no matter what. But it's okay. He had a solid 2 weeks of ABs. He's one of the stats that the D-backs put up on the jumbotron. He's career high in walks, and I think he's already almost on a career high of games played. So at least there's some positive for fucking Jose Herrera. Please just let us keep James McCann. I can't handle this. But Tanner. And Dank also joined us in here. Appreciate you, gentlemen. Again, appreciate every single one of you guys for stopping in here. Keep letting us know your thoughts and everything as we go along here. Because again, we're trying not to dwell on all the negatives here. We want to twist it in a little bit more of a positive light. And I did mention a little bit earlier, one of the things that was a positive, obviously, we already talked about last episode, Ketel Marte being announced as the starting second baseman for the All-Star game. It was confirmed in the middle of the game. I mean, I guess before the game started, technically, because they had the video ready. But they put out the tweets, and then they did an in-game announcement that Eugenio Suarez and Corbin Caroll will both be joining Cattell down in Atlanta for the All-Star game. And I know even before our show, Brandon was like, is Corbin really an All-Star? I'm pretty sure most of the reserves and stuff were voted on like a month prior. So I think that, the way Corbin kind of struggled before getting his hand hurt and then obviously missing a few weeks probably doesn't really factor into the voting as much, but hey, you know what? Either way, he is an all-star for the second time in his career. Geno is an all-star once again. So it's great to see the D-backs being, represented a little bit at the Midsummer Classic, especially if Geno potentially gets selected for the home run derby. We can see some Geno bombs down in Atlanta. That'd be kind of fun to see. But my question to you, gentlemen, everybody else in the chat as well, is obviously we know Cattell was 100% deserving of the All Star nod. Like, there's no doubt about it. I'm sorry, Tommy Edman should not have even been a finalist with it. I'm glad that majority of fans agreed. But looking at the reserves, because again they announced even all the other reserve names in there for both the American League and the National League. Who is one player on in each league, National League and American League, that you think definitely shouldn't be deserving of an all-star spot at least, and who's maybe a player that got snubbed? For me, I'd say the National League, an easy player that got snubbed. I know they're technically a reserve, but they should have been a starter. James Wood, he should have easily been in there. Like, I know that's not the technical definition of a snub, but I'm sorry, there's no way he shouldn't have been in the final. Like, he should be starting over Ronald Acuna Jr. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Like, that's ridiculous. I get make Ronald Acuna an all-star because it's in Atlanta. They needed, a representative, but James Wood should be starting over him. And then in the American League, there's a lot of names. At least the name that I think that wasn't necessarily deserving of a spot was Julio Rodriguez. He's had a pretty mediocre year, where even a guy like George Springer's had a much better year, just looking at a lot of the numbers comparatively. Where, yes, I know Julio has fielding and base running and whatnot that can kind of bolster his stats a little bit, but I think Julio's a little bit of a name that I would not have picked. But I'm curious to see if there's a name that, kind of stood out to you that made you, like, audibly go, like, they're an all-star?
I guess for me, it's mostly like I'm fine with basically everybody who's an all star except Kershaw. I mean, the guy has like a 4.5 ERA. There's no reason why he should be an all star if they're not making guys like Justin Verlander or Max Scherzer all stars as well. I think this is kind of just stupid to make him an all star. Like, I get that he got the 3,000 strikeouts. I'm like, that's just a normal day in the office for Verlander and Scherzer. I believe they've passed the 3,000 strikeout threshold years ago already, but I think overall, for the most part, the people who are there should. I don't know about starting. That's my issue. I think a lot of guys shouldn't be starting. I think Pete Alonso should be at first instead of Freddie Freeman. Um, but seeing guys like Juan Soto have to be reserved. But I want to mention some guys that I think should have been in there, and maybe at some point they will. Like, some guys drop out, but say Suzuki. The problem is a lot of the guys I'm going to mention are right fielders, and that position is just stacked. I mean, you have
Yeah.
Corbin, Kyle Tucker, Ronald Acuna Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr. Like, you have like 5 or 6, 7 guys where you're like, these are actual MVP candidates, and then it's just actual all-star level guys. So Seiya Suzuki, he's he has like an 870 OPS. I mean, his average is a little low, but I mean, technically higher than Corbin's is. But he has 24 home runs on the season. Zach McKinstry, he should be in over Jazz Chisholm, but Jazz Chisholm because he's a Yankee. The difference in WAR isn't too high, but if you compare their stats overall, he's doing a little bit better. The main thing is just the home runs that Jazz has. But Zach McKinstry either should be in there in general or over Jazz Chisholm. Framber Valdez, he's not in it, and he wasn't voted on to be in it. And Framber's having one of the best years right now. He has 18 starts already. He has a 3.4 WAR, 115 innings pitched, 2.90 ERA. Just overall has been super solid and really, really good for the Astros. And he's just kind of going under the radar because of guys like Tariq Skubal, where they're just too dominant and nobody's going to be able to catch up to them. But Framber's having a Cy Young caliber season. And that's about it for guys that I think should have been in there. I mean, obviously, there's just always going to be more. That's just the nature of the All-Star game, where you're going to have a favorite that's just going to be left out, like maybe Naylor should have got in there. In terms of D-backs pitchers, I don't think any really deserve to be in there. I think if they would have let Nelson start the season, he probably could have been
Erod can go
on
down there
there.
as a home run derby pitcher.
Home run derby pitcher. But speaking of home run derbies, Geno did say if he gets asked, he's doing it. So they got to ask him and not Pete Alonso again, so he can just meditate and fail again.
Yeah, so you brought up a lot of great names that I feel like, because I didn't even realize Seiya was having that great of a year. I mean, that OPS and those home run numbers alone scream all-star to me. But I do agree with you on the Kershaw, like the legend vote. Okay, like, we're just really. Like again, good for Kershaw. He is. Will tip the cap.
Keep in
Probably
mind, they did add another pitcher to the National League All Star to kind of make sure that Kershaw didn't take up that spot. So National League has
still.
14 pitchers, AL has 13. So it's not like he's really taking the plays; they're just adding it on top of the normal amount.
Yeah, then we'll say
Sounds like
quickly, Riley's mentioning Trey Turner, I believe, who's leading the league in hits. So the fact that he's not in there is a problem too. But I mean, again, it's the shortstop position. There's just so
also
many
fact.
really, really good guys in certain positions that somebody's going to left out.
I do agree. There's a couple tough names, but I think the big one, at least I know Brendan bring up a good point. Technically not taking someone's spot, but Kershaw getting an All Star nod just for being a legend. Pretty crazy, but there's a lot of
I
names
got
left off.
pissed when I saw that. I was like,
Yeah.
did he miss a lot? And I looked at his stats. I'm like, what is? And then I saw, oh, it's the commish pick. I was like, okay, I'm not as mad.
It's the literal participation trophy award, but I'm curious. Yeah, again, I know Gabe kind of listed off a few solid names in there. Framber, another name I didn't realize he was having as solid of a year. But was there anybody that either Gabe didn't mention, anybody that you wanted to kind of circle back to that Gabe might have mentioned that definitely should have been invited down to Atlanta, or maybe even somebody that like for some reason like Jazz Chisholm got an invite when they probably shouldn't have?
Michael Bush. He's 5th in Major League Baseball in WRC plus. I didn't know that until I was like looking at some posts on Twitter and just Cubs fans is like Suzuki, Bush, like most of the replies with. I'm like, are we sure? And then I looked it up. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, he's having a really good year. It's just first base in the National League has been this way for what 10, 15 years. Like just super stacked, super deep. Like Goldie missed it out numerous times just because of how stacked it was. Like
Votto
when
and
you have Freddie
and
Freeman,
Rizzo.
and like it's not that Bush's WRC plus is that much higher than Michael Bush. So like it's similar. So and then I was just like, all right. So say you do put Bush on there, who do you remove? You can't have 4 first basemen. Now Bush has played second in his career. He has played third. And again, this happens every year. Injury alternates, it's like 5 or 6 at least every year. You're gonna see it with these pitchers because some of these guys are probably gonna pitch on Saturday or Sunday, and they don't want them to pitch in the actual All Star game. Another one for me is Andrew Abbott from the Reds.
Ooh, he's a good name.
In 15 starts has a 2.9 WAR with a whip of 1.08. Like he's having a really good year. So I would say that's probably the other one that I would say. I was surprised Caroll got in. I really did because I was like, he's missing 2 weeks, and I already thought he was kind of on the fence, based on how the voting was going. But no, he got in, and what Gabe said, maybe they voted on it like last month, which I don't. If how can they vote on reserves if they don't know the starters? I'm wondering if like they voted on it a couple days ago. Because to me,
I think they
it
have
doesn't like
because the starters are fan voted. I think they're like, all right, you know what? Whether they're starters or not, who do you want to send to the All Star game? I think that's where the other voting comes into place.
because I think
Yeah,
each
it's probably like
manager picks 4 guys, right?
there's probably a list
I
of
think
like
is what
4 guys, and then whatever guy actually gets that spot gets taken off that list. So it's just like top 3 guys or whatever it is.
So they probably just tally like each team, and then probably each manager probably chooses like 4 or 5 guys in their league that they feel is deserving of it. So I'm happy. I'm happy Caroll made it. Like I was a little worried about Geno, and then I saw Muncy got hurt.
Yeah, the
Like
Muncy
it,
thing.
like that sucks for him. But like once that happened, I'm like, it has like Geno has to be the backup third baseman. There is nobody else in the National League that was even close to what Geno was doing. Like what Geno has done over the last 12 months.
28 home runs and
literally
76 RBIs already, and we're not even at the All Star break. Is crazy. That's some guy's entire year.
And he's batting really well too. Like it's not like he's just batting over 200 or 210. Like he he has a decent average. He's not going to be on this team August 1st, though. There's no way that the only thing I can think of is that Hazen, like, unless Hazen gets a good trade offer, because I don't want Hazen to sell these guys just to sell. I don't want him to be like, oh, they're like, oh, you need to get rid of him. Unless you get a good deal, don't do it. Like, don't
Anthony
trade
Volpe
just
is,
to
yeah.
trade. Like, don't do it because I don't want us we something similar to the Robbie Ray deal. I don't want that. I do not want us to trade for a low level prospect and then we end up cutting him and then he signs back or I would rather you get a good deal, make the trade that can help improve this team. Because I don't think Hazen's going to do a full on sell. I think it's a soft sell. And I think it's going to retool because he still wants us to compete next season. Like any of these moves. And I think he's going to have a very high price for Kelly. I don't think he wants to trade Kelly or Geno. So I think his asking price is going to be pretty high. And I don't think he's made his decision if we're buyers or sellers. I think he's going to wait till about 72 hours before and see where this team is. If they're where
Hopefully,
they're at right now, 4 games back of that final wild card, I don't think he sells.
no, I don't think they're. I, I think he's got too much, faith in this team, and he doesn't want to. I think Kendrick's also like, hey, you sell, we're not gonna have as many fans interested in coming to the games anymore. So like, keep some fans in the stands, go be aggressive. I'm just nervous because we already have a thin minor league system as it is. But Anthony Volpe for Geno Suarez, it is champ. That's pretty much most of the trades I've been seeing online. Most of them are joking, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to see a trade like that. Um, but either way, it's just nice to see a lot of these guys get like Geno finally get the recognition he deserves. I know Machado's had a really solid year, and with all the Padre fans and their voting, it was literally going to be him or
Machado is a Hall of Famer, and
yeah,
I
easy.
and I will like a lot of people's like, no, he's not. He's a dirty player. The dude's about to hit 2,000 career hits. He's like 34, has 300 homers. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Just like Paul Goldschmidt is. But
Yes.
speaking of, he's also an All Star, I believe, for the Yankees too. I think he's starting American League at first base. So shout out Goldie, still America's first baseman in my heart, even though you're wearing the evil pinstripes. But yeah, say it's I'm excited though, especially one thing I know we kind of like somewhat touched on it, but no more of these ugly ass fucking All Star game jerseys. Like last year in Texas, seeing all them wear this borderline softball league or beer league's softball dog shit jersey where it's just like National League everywhere. Every player, it is back to them wearing their team's uniform, just like we saw with Goldie and Patrick Corbin and all those All Star games back in the day. Cattell will be wearing his D-backs uniform. Dodgers players will be wearing their Dodger stuff. Machado will be wearing, Padres gear. It'll actually look like it did for so many years back in the heyday of those all-star games when we used to get like because it's very rare you see some elite jersey combinations, which speaking of elite jersey combinations, kind of tying it back to the series, Saturday's jersey combinations that the Royals wore and the D-backs wore, probably my favorite of all time.
Oh,
Like that is just
yes.
an amazing aesthetic matchup with the Royals powder blue and the D-backs Serpientes teal City Connect. But I'm so happy that they've kind of ditched the stupid All Star Game jerseys, other than the home run derby jerseys, which that's kind of cool because I think I saw something online where the National League players will all wear something with Hank Aaron's number on the back, in tribute to Hank Aaron and breaking the record, whatever it was. And I think American League players like Cal Raleigh will have number 3 on their back, in honor of Babe Ruth. So something kind of cool. I don't mind it for that, but for the actual game, thank you for bringing back the regular jerseys. I'm so glad MLB finally got on board with that.
Yeah, I like the I was so close to liking the hat, but the hat has that weird like
Like line
extra
through it.
fold. Yeah, and I'm like, man, they almost had such a really nice hat, but it just makes it so ugly. I really don't like how this one looks. Like, I think some of the nicer ones were like the ones I think in Washington D.C. or like those gray ones, the gray ones with the stars on it. I really like
Hmm.
those, but yeah, this year's I'm like they were so close to making really good ones, but they just had to put that damn little random indent in there that just ruined it. But I do think, yeah, I do like seeing each team and each player with their actual team uniform on, because usually it's just like white or blue or black and white or something. It just always looks like trash.
Yeah, like the one they had a few years ago, I believe in LA, they were pretty bad. Like I don't remember an All-Star jersey where they've actually looked good. I feel like the general consensus for them over the last few years have been, wow, these are pretty bad. Like these look like a, you know, create a team uniform you'd see on Diamond Dynasty of somebody just going, what's the ugliest dog shit I can slap on my players and have them play a virtual game with, but they just brought it to real life. So thankfully, that is in the past. But I'm just genuinely excited to see the D-backs get some more love. We no longer are the days of the Joe Man Supply being our lone representative at the All-Star game. We finally have 3 stars, and while one of them maybe not as deserving as the other two, they're all, all-stars in our book, and they'll all, still have that accolade next to their name. And especially, like I said earlier, the fact that Cattell is he won't reach it this year because obviously we don't have like 90 something games left. But next year, I believe within the first month, he should earn the achievement of being the Diamondback that has played the most games in team history as a D-back. So it's just great to see Cattell at least staying, as a starter. And I believe there was a quote by him earlier too. I saw it on Instagram again. I don't know if it's like one of those fake things. Again, with the internet nowadays, you can get duped. I've been duped a lot of times on a real quote, whatnot. But it's something where he's saying he doesn't even say he's like from the Dominican Republic anymore. He says, or wherever he's originally from, he just says he's Arizona. He's from
Yeah.
Arizona, and that's
Yeah.
like super cool. I'm glad that the entire fan base has really embraced him and made him feel welcome because it's nice to see players not pulling AJ Pollock and trash this team and this fan base and the city whenever they get when they get booted or if they're not here anymore. But like I said, not too much on the Royal Series unless there's any final thoughts you gentlemen had here on the series or the All-Star game before we get into our quick series preview that we got coming up in San Diego.
Do we want to talk about Pavin Smith? The
Do we need to?
possible, um,
Oh, I guess yeah.
kind of,
There's
because
a funny joke there.
he
Honestly,
he's he wasn't put on like an extended IL stint. It was a 10-day IL stint, and to remind everybody, he doesn't have any minor league options anymore. So if people want him to get sent down to the minors, there's just no way that's going to happen. They have to DFA him, or or else
Or
they
trade him.
can't, they or trade him or something. That's kind of the only option. But the one other option would be to put him on the IL like this for something like an oblique strain, which won't show up on an MRI really. So I kind of have the theory that they kind of just put him there just so they don't have to technically do anything with him, because Hazen is not going to let him go. But I mean, he sucks. Like, he's been really bad. He's been worth a negative WAR for the last 2.5 months. So, I saw somebody, I don't know, trying to argue with this, saying like, "Oh, he's been average." I'm like, there's nothing average about his numbers at all. Like, maybe he has maybe 100 WRC plus, but in the last 30 games, I'm like, he's batting 211, he's 300 on base, 300 slugging. Like, there's no way that's a league average WRC plus. So I don't know what the hell that person was looking at, what the hell they were smoking, but Pavin has been
they might have just been
worth
talking about his
minus
season
WAR.
stats overall, is my guess.
Well,
Which
they
again,
specifically said 30 days, and I'm like, dude, these are their stats for 30 days. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, some people are just not worth arguing with and are just delusional. Pavin.
what what I think the IL sent is, again, this is me, like I'd say 99.9% joking. All right, my friends, I'm not being serious about this. Tinfoil hat
99.
time. The tinfoil hat's coming on for it. We remember the news about the Guardians pitcher Luis Ortiz being investigated for gambling for 2 random innings where he would start off an inning with the most dog shit pitch, just a ball, because they flagged some weird activity, for some money being placed on Luis Ortiz to throw a ball in that exact inning on the first batter. So it's a little bit weird. Again, tinfoil hat on. Maybe this is them trying to hide the MLB investigation for Pavin having one of his family members throw 10 racks a game to hit the at least 1+ strikeouts, sometimes 2+.
One plus strikeout and first inning strikeout and second at bat grounded into double play. It's easy money right there for Pavin.
Yeah, so again, I'm 99.9% joking. I don't think that's actually what's happening, but that was just one of the things that kind of popped into my mind because of the Luis Ortiz thing going on. I'm like, that would explain a lot over these last 35, 40 games here for Pavin, because for a guy that's supposed to be getting on base a lot, and has like a really good eye, he's striking out way too much for a guy that has the numbers he does, where it's like, yeah, Geno can strike out a bunch because Geno's going to actually, send a ball 450 feet probably once or twice a week at minimum. Not really seeing much of that from our DH there, but, that's a dead horse that we probably have, beaten one too many times here in the pod, but it's a fun topic. But Brandon, any other final thoughts on the Royal Series here before we move on into our series preview against the Fathers?
So you know how we had Grichuk's inside the park homer. Major League Baseball said, yeah, no, it's not an inside the park, but that's what we had it as, and it's still a homer, so we're gonna keep it as an inside the park home run. I was just like, really? Like,
so then they're probably like, what? Home run's a home run. Salute tomato tomato.
It's literally what it was. Yeah, when you guys were talking about that in the group chat yesterday about Pavin cashing money on his own strikeouts, I almost wanted to go, well, actually, the only way to bet strikeouts is doing it live. So, but like, I just didn't want to be.
That's why one of his family members is doing it, You have the family, because you're like,
no, because I knew exactly when I did it. You'd send that one photo that you always do when I go, well, actually. So I did.
Oh man, you guys, our group chat is the most cursed place ever. One of the dumb jokes, because we were sitting there on Friday night, and because if you guys have been following Foolish Baseball for years, there's like a specific type of tweet where he'll always put out things where it's like, she blank on my blank till I blank, and it inserts some player's name, a team name, some shit like that, and I was just like, she jack on my Royal till I Caglione, and I'm like, the dumbest shit you could possibly get.
That was the weirdest thing you've ever posted in there. I'm like, what is this?
Oh man, that's what I'm saying. That's for the deep lore knowers who have been following Foolish Baseball for years. But thankfully we can wipe it. We can flush it. That was a good ball team or good ball club on the other side. They didn't play the D-backs way of baseball. Blah 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 blah. All the other Toryisms you can think of. Which, by the way, if there's any D-backs fans listening, that's very into making funny clips together. If you can find make a compilation of all the Toryisms, there's one that had as an example Aaron Boone saying it's right in front of us. Some Yankee fan made one where it was like 8 different clips of him just saying it's right in front of us. It's right there in front of us. If we can just get somebody to do that with Tory and his flush it, that's a good ball club over there, just whatever other Toryisms, if we can have somebody do that, and please add us on Twitter, we would be very appreciative of it, because I just too much time for me to go through and make, but I know there's got to be some D-back fan out there that'd be willing to embark on that quest. But thankfully, after we flush this one, we are going to San Diego for a 4-gamer, which, as even Gabe and Brandon mentioned earlier, probably one of the biggest series of the season. Could be a make or break, deciding on what we're going to be doing going forward. Tomorrow night, it will be Zach Gallen. Again, he did get pushed back a day. Everyone did, basically. So it's going to be Zach Gallen, 6-9 with the 5.4 ERA, going up against Yu Darvish, who's making his first start of the season. So you already know he's going to go probably 5 innings with the pitch count limit, but probably 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, because that's the D-backs way. Yu's still pretty good, though, so no discredit to him. Then the next 3 games, there's actually an updated thing. Thank you for getting that in there, Brandon. The game 2 is going to be Merrill Kelly, the mainstay, 7-4 with a 3.55 ERA, going up against Nick Pivetta, who's had a really solid year. He shut us down on that Sunday game a few weeks back. He's 9-2 with a 3.25 ERA. Then Wednesday is going to be Brandon Fott, who's 8-6 with the 8.42 ERA, going up against Dylan Cease, who's had not the most Cease-like season, especially going into free agency. He is 3-8 with the 4.62. So Dylan Cease versus Zach Gallen on the soon-to-be free agent pitchers is literally the coughing baby versus coughing baby meme. And then Thursday is going to be Eduardo Rodriguez, again 3-5 with a 5.78 ERA, going up against Carlos Vasquez. I'm trying to remember this.
Randy.
Randy Vasquez, thank
Randy.
you. Randy Vasquez, who is 3-4 with a 3.79 ERA. So another 4-game series up against another NL West team. Gentlemen and everybody else listening along in chat, is there anything that you have that you're going to keep your eye on in the series coming up? Whether it's like a certain like matchup. I know Gabe, before the Royal series, you're bringing up Cattell versus Waka. We
Waka.
unfortunately didn't get that one. But is there anything kind of in that ballpark, like a certain D-backs hitter versus pitcher, maybe a D-backs pitcher against like a Padres hitter, or just something in general that you're going to be keeping an eye out for as we head to San Diego for a 4-gamer?
So the main thing is they just have to get to the starting pitcher first, because once they get to the bullpen, you're going to be out of luck at that point. Like, the Padres have a really, really good bullpen back there, and I don't think they're going to be able to score a whole lot on them. So Darvish, he is coming back from an injury. They just have to win the first game. Win the first game, then you're able to put yourself in position to win, one more and then one more, and suddenly you win 3 out of 4, and you're able to at least gain some ground. But like we talked about, the main thing, win the series at least. At least with the 4-game series, you can win that and be happy with that, because you gain about a couple games instead of gaining 1 or nothing if you tie, or lose games if you actually lose the series. But I guess in terms of a player to look out for, I'm specifically going to be looking at Corbin, see how he bounces back from this 4 strikeout game, see what he does in San Diego, and Geno, with the air in San Diego and the way that ball can fly, if there's a lot of some day games here, that ball's gonna be flying all over the place, and with some of that wind, I do think Geno's gonna be able to hit that Western Supply or whatever
Western
it is.
Metal Supply bit.
Yeah. So whoever's in there, watch out for flying glass from Geno.
Yeah, hopefully they send hopefully Geno sends them just a pre-made out check with a blank space for whatever glass repair company they're going to need, because I'm hoping to see him break a few panels up there. And then, hey, Corbin, first career home run for Corbin Carroll was in San Diego, so maybe he's going to get back into the home run swing there. So that's a good pick there. Brandon, any series previews or any series predictions, any matchups that you're going to be keeping an eye on? Especially, I know with the Padres being your second team, I know you have probably a little bit more of a familiarity with some of the names. So anything that you're going to be kind of keeping your eye on, or just predictions in general?
First thing is tomorrow, James McCann better be starting, be the battery with Gallen, and McCann, like last time, call every single pitch. That's what happened last time. We saw what Gallen did last time. 10 strikeouts. Just have McCann back there and have him call every pitch. Zach was talking about it. I don't remember what game on the TV broadcast, but he was saying how much he really appreciated James McCann and what he's able to do for him. So I'm hoping that's kind of the thing going forward with Gallen, is don't let him call his own pitches. Because ever since he's been allowed to do that, which was basically mid-year 23, he has not been the same. So let catchers call it, and maybe he'll pitch better. We thought Jose Herrera was bad. The Padres had 2 of them. Both of their catchers are Jose Herrera bad. Elias Diaz and Martin Maldonado have 18 total RBI as a catching group.
One or both of them is taking Gallon yard. I hope not, but I know that's going to happen.
It's going to happen, right? It's definitely going to happen. I think Cease is going to get traded. I think San Diego is going to just look a lot different August 1st. There's a chance they
cease to exist as a Padre.
Yes, that one was easy. Like, that one you didn't have to think about. There's a possibility that they trade Suarez, their closer. He hasn't looked good lately. Rumor is they might even trade Luis Arias too. Like,
the best second baseman in baseball, better than Cattell.
You never let me live that down. Ever. But yeah, no. I don't like having expectations, and that's what I had at the start of this year, and we've seen how this season has transpired. It's it's just frustrating. Like, I know everyone wants Torrey and Hazen gone. I just don't see them doing it with all of the injuries. I just don't. Like, they're gonna say you like didn't get a fair shake. Like, it's just interesting to think what would this team look like if we had a average bullpen, not like a bottom three bullpen, but like 18 to 20. Like, how many wins difference would it be? I'm saying at least 5. Like, I could see us being like 4 or 5 games over 500 at this point if we had an average bullpen. That's how many games I feel
easy.
the
Minimum,
bullpen
probably closer to 10.
has. Like, just, it's so crazy. Or like, if Torrey made the decision, oh, Justin Martinez is our closer, Puck is our 8th inning guy, and we didn't have those injury problems. Or they like, oh, Nelson, you're starting pitcher. Like, I think this is like the 3rd time that they've like yo-yoed him. Hopefully this is the last time.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know how this series is gonna go. I really don't. Like, every time
Every game there, I feel like every NL West game is just an absolute like hellhole nightmare fuel, especially games in San Diego. Like, when your team's struggling, it makes it even worse because I mean we already know no lead is safe, but it seems like even there no lead can be safe no matter what. I mean, a beautiful ballpark. If you guys have never been to
so
Petco, probably like again, I've only been to 2 major league ballparks. I've been to, at least for an actual game. I did go to Houston, which is funny, in the summer of 2017, or I guess August of 2017. Literally, apparently, right when they were doing the trash can bagging scandal. I got to see the stadium, not for an actual game, just for a tour. But I've only actually seen a game at 2 different ballparks, or 2 ballparks, Chase Field being one of them, obviously, and then Petco being the second. And I love our airplane hangar, and I have not gone to any other stadium. I think Petco is probably the #1 ballpark in baseball. Easy, like no doubt. No doubt about it. But hopefully the D-backs can make it the #2 ballpark, and they can just shit all over that place. And the Padres pitching, that was a terrible joke. But you know what? We're going to keep rolling with it. But I agree. Keeping the expectations low. Just don't make us more depressed about this season than it already is. Don't let the grave be fully dug. At least win 3 or 4 to keep our hopes alive. Because if we split, then it's another one. Like, how long can we keep playing this barely under 500, barely over 500, at 500 team shtick before it gets to the point where like we're just finally pure mid, and we've got to either commit to buying or commit to selling and do it now. But either way, I know that all 4 of us or all 3 of us will be here to discuss that series. And I hope to see all of you guys in there to discuss that series with us in the chat, or like I said, if you guys are listening to us on Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast afterwards, and if you're not already in a Discord, jump in the Discord. We'd love to hear your thoughts in there. If you obviously can't be here for the YouTube side, but we'll be back again probably on either Thursday night or Friday, depending on our schedules and whatnot, to discuss that series. Again, make sure you guys go follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, or Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Join the Discord. Go on over to azsnakepit.com. And hopefully we'll have a little bit more of a positive spin on things for this next series. But in the meantime, you guys all have a fantastic rest of your holiday weekend, and we'll see you guys next time. Y'all take it easy. Peace.
Under the lights, the game goes down. Tears are a heap, but we own this town. Brennan gave on the call with Josh in the back, bringing it on.